Hola, marhaba, good morning, bonjour, and ni hao. Welcome back to the podcast of the show, wherever you are watching or listening to it. This is your host, Mohamed Aboshanab, and you can always call me Mo. I'm an international lawyer. I've lived in eight plus countries and I've done business with more 50 plus countries. I always help digital nomads, global citizens, and remote workers who would like to explore opportunities beyond their home country. We have a very special guest today, Mr. Mohamed Dawo. He's originally from the UK and he moved to Indonesia. And he have a very interesting story he would like to share with us. If you would like to introduce yourself, Mohammed, and give us like a background about yourself.
Sure. So, like just said, both sorry. My name is Mohamed Dao. I'm from the UK. I've been in Indonesia on and off since 2022. So last year, basically. And really the reason why I came here was essentially, for love, for better freedom, and better opportunities, and the warm weather, of course.
You mentioned 2020, so that's mean that you moved during the pandemic, before the lockdown or after the lockdown?
Apologies. I meant to say 2022. So actually last year.
Last year, okay, that's
hmm
that's good. That's good. That's good. Which part in the UK you are used to live in?
London.
London, okay. Which area?
hmm Southeast
Which borough
London.
in London?
Okay, Lewisham. Familiar with that?
Lewisham is good. Yes, yeah, yeah. I've lived in London more than 8 years. Yeah, so I know London, Manchester, Liverpool. I mean, it's a very interesting. Even it was a great place exactly before the Brexit and things get into trouble. Okay, so let's get back to the when you decided to move to Indonesia. It's like, when the idea come to your mind, are you always thinking about getting out of the UK and moving to other countries, and or this is something that what the main reason of moving from the UK to Indonesia or a different country in general?
My reasons are not so much more economic. It was more of kind of my experiences in the UK as a whole, regarding from a racial background, um, in my family background, all that kind of stuff. So to break it down a little bit, my first role that I got in tech, um, that gave me the opportunity and the taste of what it feels like to work remote. That was in 2020, 3 months or 2 months before the pandemic hit. Then 2 months into the pandemic, I was made redundant from my first tech role. But that experience taught me that one, in this kind of industry, it opens a lot of doors for you to work location independent. What that means, or in other words, really is I can work wherever I want to work, and that gives me the freedom to, travel and experience new cultures and do what I like to do whilst working. So I had a little taste from that, and then I tried to find more experiences with that. So I started looking for more roles that were remote, and uh, eventually I stumbled across entrepreneurship in terms of building businesses online and working remote, doing that. So that's kind of what started the whole journey from there. And then 2021, I started a process where I was getting married. I was in the process of getting married, and I met my wife online, and she was in Indonesia. So I had countries like Turkey, UAE, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Like these were my top countries I was considering settling down, getting married, working, and building businesses as well. So it's really great for me. It was a great good opportunity that I found someone from that country, and I have all these things that I like to do. It's like it was all in one kind of thing. So I said, all right, cool. So in- I believe it was February 2022, last year. That's when I made the first step into Indonesia. And at that point, I was around 6, 7 months into my current remote job that I have with a tech security company. And yeah, that's since then I've been working remote, building businesses as well, and happily settled down in Indonesia.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So getting back to your point, it's like, because one of the things that I see that people who would like to be digital nomad, remote workers, or even global citizen, as I call myself always, is that when you are currently get a remote job before the pandemic, before the lockdown, and then you have been made redundant, and that could be like the first shock that come into your lifestyle or your mentality. Then you decided that I need to find 100% remote job. I need to find opportunities not just in the UK, and then I build the lifestyle around this point.
Exactly. That's exactly how it was for me.
Okay.
When I was working in the
Yes.
office,
So
it was when I was working. Sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 that's fine. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, that was exactly how it was for me. Working in offices, working in location dependent roles, you spend a lot of money on commuting. You spend a lot of money on lunches and off sites and all these kind of things. And it's like it adds up. It really does add up. And London, as you know, major cities around the world in the West,
Yeah,
very, very
yeah.
expensive. It's extremely expensive. Even just the transport itself, rather than using your own vehicle, is expensive. When you when you work in a place like Indonesia or any other country where you can work remote, you tend to see that the prices are so much lower. The cost of living is so much lower. You can generally live a better life in these type of countries. Basic stuff, transport, food, entertainment, etc., etc. And it's exactly what I think many digital nomads like myself aspire to do. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I totally agree with you. So it's like when we mention about the shock that happened and then the mentality change, and you decided to take action and see other opportunities. If you can give advice to anyone who see, I mean, there's many people think about the idea and that I would like to do exactly like you. Or I mean, they see the videos, they see the photos, people on the beaches, people enjoying their. I mean, you can get a full lunch for like a £1 sterling, or you can get a coffee for half a pound, for half a sterling, and with the inflation and the cost of getting out of control in London. So, what kind of advice that you can give anyone who actually thinking about the idea, but he think that it's too much challenging for them?
there's a lot of things that I've done myself that really helped. One of them was having people in the country that you're looking to visit, having contacts or having a network there. For example, I had my spouse, I had a few other people that I met online that I was communicating with. For others, you can join online communities. There's a lot of digital nomad communities online that you'll find a few people in Bali, for example. You'll find a few people in Dubai, for example. They're there, and you can meet them in person. So that's my number one advice. Another advice I would have is definitely you want to save some money because it's quite a big switch. You're changing from one lifestyle to another, and it can be a culture shock for you. And you can plan, but plans don't always go to work. So the best advice I would say is have at least 6 months of saving before you actually make the move. And even before that, I would say try to visit the location that you're interested in for like as a holiday for like a few weeks, maybe a month or so. Just get a taste of what it's like living there. Try to see if you're comfortable. Try to see if you can imagine living there longer than um, maybe a month or two, long term, basically.
So you advise anyone to save at least a couple of months when they're going to the other location, and give a visit to the location to make sure that this is the country that I will stay long term.
Exactly. But also, I would say joining online
Okay.
communities
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
already have digital nomads.
Okay. Perfect. That's clear. So get yeah. Okay, that's perfect. So if we, I mean, before finding your wife, she's already from Indonesia. You mentioned about a couple of countries like Turkey, Malaysia, United Arab Emirates. How do you, I mean, have you done like a research about the different countries and how they are different from the lifestyle, the culture, the cost of living? What kind of benefits that you can get for moving this to these countries, or even the visa or immigration process in different countries?
Yeah, I did. Specifically, I did research with Turkey and Malaysia, in addition to Indonesia. Malaysia and Indonesia are very similar. Obviously, the difference is a little bit nuanced. For example, the people and the language as well. A lot of people in Malaysia know English more so than people in Indonesia. Turkey, obviously, I believe when I was doing some research there, uh, it was advised that you should learn the language uh, more so than, for example, Malaysia. Not many people speak English in Turkey and even Indonesia. The tax benefits also, like for example, you can set up a company in Bali and you can enjoy tax benefits from there. I understand that now Malaysia and Indonesia recently they've started rolling out digital nomad visas. Indonesia, I believe, or Bali specifically, they've started rolling out 5 year, 10 year, or they're planning to, anyways. So that's the stuff that I need to know online and research just before I made my move. Yeah,
Yeah, understand. Okay, and you have done all the process yourself, or you get a professional advice from someone else?
not with my wife at all. I had my wife helping me. She was my translator when I came over to Indonesia, so she helped me with the process of getting the documents to get married here, the documents to well, we're actually the moment we're trying to fix the documents to get the spouse visa for myself. Yeah, so you would need help. Some of us are quite lucky to have spouses to help us. Yeah, there are cases where you would have to hire a professional. Um, and I don't think that's too difficult, especially for Indonesia. Like if you, there's a lot of online services now. For myself, I applied for a visa agency in Bali. Um, they speak English and they have great customer service and everything like that. So yeah, there are options for you, definitely.
Okay, so you that's get to the same question. If you don't have someone to, if you don't have someone locally to understand the language, you advise to get a professional help or at least translator so you can go into the language barrier and the culture barrier to make sure that the application will be much more in the process side. Yeah.
100%.
Okay, perfectly. That's good. So, getting back to managing your business, you used to live in London, and it's it's like your home, so it's everything is like it's like in your comfort zone. How much time or what kind of challenges that you have faced to move your business or starting, because you mentioned about starting a business online and then managing everything remotely. How much time it take you to get those process, and what kind of challenge that you have faced to manage everything from the UK, whatever you have been restrictions on different locations, or the banking, the system, how you get over all the challenges that other remote workers, the digital nomads facing when they try to go 100% remote.
Yeah, I've set up about two, three companies already, and one of the biggest challenges I have is managing the taxes, uh, especially because I'm not in the location. Um, for example, and also, for example, uh, we have a HMRC in the UK, right? And they like to still send physical post and things like that. So I'm not there to collect it. So I would have to have someone there in person to get that data for me and information. So it's kind of a long process. It's kind of like an old system as well that they're still operating by in some cases. That's one of the challenges. The other challenges I think I have is uh, because I've set up everything literally in the UK and I have to manage it whilst being remote in Indonesia. I've got issues like time zone. For example, doing sales calls and managing my business and getting in touch with customers who in the UK would be awake, and that it's during the working hours, but for me it's almost midnight. So it's a bit of a tricky situation there. That's one of the common challenges digital nomads will have working in Southeast Asia and many other countries where the time zone is a bit rough. Yeah. Um, uh, Other than that, I haven't had much issue. I mean, the good thing is I managed to set everything up before I left. Especially when I came back again this year, I still made sure that, all right, everything is set up, all the systems are set up, my taxes are paid, all that's done before I come back to Indonesia. So I think I think definitely advice I would put here as well is make sure you have systems in place before you make the switch, or you're going to visit a country or something like that, because you don't want to be surprised in any way, especially from the tax people.